Hey, what's going on, Toughers? And welcome to the very first episode of Fun Mission Editor Developers Update. My name is Conrad, and together with Julius, also known as Pinkdot, we are PyToughers, and we've been working on Fun Mission Editor initiative for more than 2 years now. We're so excited to show you guys what we have already, so I'll be doing that today. For those of you who have no idea what this project is about, just a short reminder. Fun Mission Editor, or FM Editor, is a modern 3D game development environment project that aims to replace Div game series editor called Dromod. That's it. And just to be clear here, it will take a long time until Fun Mission Editor will be able to fully replace Dromod. And if we succeed, yes, if we manage to move this project forward, complete the list of features we already have planned or defined somewhere, if we reach some certain distance phase of this project, then we will be able to say we can fully replace. So until we have complete and feature-rich Fun Mission Editor, we need to have certain workarounds when some things are still work in progress. One of such workarounds I'll be showing you in a while is about portalization and game mode. This is a huge amount of effort to implement our own portalization and optimization, but it's doable. This applies also to other things like pathfinding, rooms, stuff like that. So while we don't have this, we delegate this task to Dromod, and then we take the output result and we load it back to the Fun Mission Editor. So let's have a look on how it works, shall we? So I've loaded some simple scene to show you guys how it works. And here we have some basic brushes. We can create some few new brushes to show you how everything is working. Yeah, so I just created some corridors, yes, additionally to what I had at the beginning. Yeah, you can see the operation of the brushes here. We'll be going back to this in a moment. So here we have this simple scene of brushes, and yeah, I'm just clicking game mode here, and it launches Dromod. And Dromod just quickly did portalization of this scene, and then it executed game mode. Yeah, then I click Alt plus E, and I'm going back to Dromod. And I can look around, check everything, do whenever you want, and then you can close it. Yeah, and you're back in your Fun Mission Editor, and you can work further. So, you might be thinking now, that's not much, right? You've created some brushes, didn't even specify any textures, no objects, etc. And you just run game mode. Yeah, you might be right. There is still a lot to be done, but we are working on it. Take the inspector, for example. This is that area, which is called brush attributes. We can see basic attributes of brushes, like position, rotation, scale. So everything is interactive, so if I modify it here, it's updating here, and So you can make modification using these gizmos. You've seen this in our teaser already. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. So here I'm using inspector to do certain changes. Here we are updating rotation, and here we have position. Yes. Yeah. So here is with an inspector. Here's with gizmos. And here down below you can see already brush faces. So this will be something you've already seen in Dromet, but I will show you in another fun mission, because here we have no textures. So yeah, so I just quickly open up the mission you've already seen at the beginning of this video. It's actually upside down by Zontic. When you just select one of those brushes, you have George or Jorge, however you pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it. You'll have different faces here, yes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are all the same. Let's take a look. Maybe this part is will be door. Yeah. Yeah, you can see different textures for different sides, like west, south. They are different. So what I have here is just work in progress. Actually, it doesn't have texture palette you have in Dromet. It doesn't have any kind of texture library, texture browser or something. We're just loading from the files for preview. But yeah, we can look around. So later on, when we have word rep, we'll be able to display them properly. Yes, like on the walls, floors, etc. Now we can only actually operate on the brushes themselves. Sorry. So that we operate with raw data that is stored inside the mission. Yeah. And as for me, I'm currently working on this part to make it functional. But that's not the only tool we are working on now. We are working on object hierarchy and object properties editor located here. So I will show you guys this. And you might be already familiar with that because we have something similar to Dromet. Actually, looks pretty the same, yeah. So we are able to load all of this data from games' files, and we display them. You have also something like this. It says show concrete objects, and you can see which of those objects are already created on your mission. And they are selected in green, yes. So you can also filter. It actually works pretty much faster than in the Dromet, yes. So that's really nice. And you have also color coding. Okay, so I needed to load another version of the project to show you this, guys. This is the most recent version. Actually, it's another version. It's another branch, or for non-programmers, it's just another version. Because mainly on this part Julius is working, so it's somehow separate. I needed to switch to it. So here we have, for example, haunt, yes, and we have the property editor, yes, and we have some coloring to better visualize properties, and here we will have different windows, widgets for editing those properties. So this is work in progress. There you can also search here those properties. Yeah, you can filter by regular expressions. You have case-sensitive search also. So, and something interesting here also, you have something like flat view here. So you can, if you are annoyed by all of that trees, you can just forget about them with that kind of view. Yeah, like some of you might find this more readable. Well, here are receptrons. They are marked in orange. Links are in green. So you can visually somehow distinguish them already. Yeah. We have game management and a little bit of project management, but I also again needed to switch branch or version to show you guys that. And yeah, here we have different GAIM profiles, like for example, I have two installations of Div2, Div Gold. Yeah, this is just leftover because it just those are just missions placed in my fun mission editor directory. Yeah, so you can manage those projects, games. And you have access to the source config of this here by clicking this button. And you can directly edit this file, you can update it here. Here you can open the directly containing all of those configurations. And here you can open the game directly. So we are planning to have all of those configurations accessible here and also by INI files so that you can edit them by hand. And yeah, you have here are some keyboard configurations, yes, like rotating, scaling, adding to selection, inverting selection mode, and here are camera movements, yes, stuff like that. Here I can, with this button, I can enable camera fly-through mode. So I will navigate like in Dromatis by using WASD buttons, and Z is for left, C is for right, yes, but you can configure this however you want. Or you can use middle mouse button You can also hold Alt and hold your right mouse button and move your mouse in diagonal directions. Then you have that kind of smooth zooming transition. And here we go to things you already have seen in the teaser video. So we have this modern transformation gizmo, yes, like you have those arrows and those elements for movement. So you do it like this, and you can change the orientation of gizmo. You can also operate on object-based orientation axis. Let's find some rotated object maybe. So this is with world axis, and this would be object, yes. So it's moving on relative axis now. Yeah, and here is the rotation gizmo on all different axes. Actually now we have world orientation, so we always rotate by world dimensions. And here we can also change to object oriented mode. And then when you see when I'm rotating object, it is also rotating the gizmo, yes. So it's relative. So two options. Yeah. Now we have scaling gizmo also. And you might notice that I have grid snapping already, yes. And grid is defined here. That's just exactly the same scale like in Dromat. So you will be familiar with that. And you can also change to relative grid and to world grid. To explain the difference is like in Dromat you have world grid, yes. But here you can also have relative grid. Like if you create, if I create a brush without grid snap being enabled, so smoothly like this, then it's completely out of the world grid, yes. This is not an unusual case when you create FunMation, but to demonstrate you what the relative grid is doing, it's like when I go back from creating brush to Gizmo, yes. And let's move it with relative grid snap, yes. Yeah, and this is by relative grid. And here you have the world grid. You see, it already jumped to a different place and can go back, because now this is by world grid or global, you can say. Yeah. So in the teaser video, you already seen the tumble-based rotation also. Here we have something like this. It's tumble pivot. We have a pivot here when we selected some kind of brush. And whenever I zoom from, whenever I click, it's zooming to the pivot, the focus brush, we can say. And the with rotation is the same. So sometimes it's helping with building towers or different, any kind of structure actually. But if you don't want it, you can use the point of interest pivot. So now, whenever I click, the pivot is made on this place, yes, on the spot. So I clicked here, then we are rotating around this point. And now I click here and we are here, yes. So the same is with the zoom, so it's more familiar. Yeah, just like normal mode or something. Yeah. And also there was group manipulation, yes. Also some kind of useful feature. Let's say we have some group of columns here. Let's select only columns. Maybe I can try. 6 of them, yes. Let's say. Yeah, and here we have something interesting. If I remember correctly how to do it, there's tons of features. With rotation, as I shown you previously, we can rotate by object orientation. So this is now. Yeah. So every single object has its own orientation. And here also we can move by object orientation. So like this. Apparently all of them have the same orientation. So this will be no difference with world orientation. But if I rotate some of them differently, like we can inspect it here, 180 degrees, yes. Or I can just type it here. Plus or minus doesn't matter actually. 183. Yeah. So now they have different orientation. And let's select them again. And here again, this is by world axis or maybe global. And here we have object. And you can already see in this change it. Yeah, so this one is actually, this one is having the same orientation. Those are completely different, so they move in a different direction. Yeah, you have different use cases like objects around the table, stuff like that. So might be useful sometimes. Yeah. And I think that's it for our update today. Hope you guys like it. Please share your comments or feedback down below, like this video, share this video, subscribe to our channel, so that we know there are people interested in what we do. This will be a huge motivation to us. So, that's it. Take care and see you next time.